Imagine a map of the world. All those lines you see separating countries, those are international borders. They show where one country ends and another begins. Borders are important. They define territories, control movement, and shape identities. But borders haven't always existed as we know them. They have a long and complex history, shaped by geography, conflict, and human ambition. Understanding borders helps us understand our world today, its divisions, its conflicts, and its potential for cooperation. This essay will explore the history of international borders, from their ancient origins to their uncertain future. We'll examine how borders have evolved, the forces that have shaped them, and their impact on our world. In the beginning, there were no lines on the map. Early humans lived in small groups, moving across the land in search of food and resources. Natural features like rivers, mountains, and deserts often acted as natural boundaries between these groups. These natural barriers provided a degree of separation and influenced settlement patterns. For example, a mountain range might separate two groups, limiting their interaction and leading to distinct cultural development. Over time, some groups settled and began to farm. This led to more permanent settlements and the need to define territories. These early territorial claims were often based on natural features, marking the beginning of more formalized borders. As societies grew, so did their ambitions. Powerful rulers emerged, seeking to expand their territories and control resources. Empires like ancient Egypt, Rome, and China emerged, their borders expanding through conquest and diplomacy. Treaties and agreements between empires played a role in defining borders. For example, the Treaty of Nachinsk in 1689 established the border between Russia and China, a border that largely remains today. However, these early borders were often fluid and contested. Empires rose and fell, borders shifted with the tides of war, and control over territory was rarely absolute. The concept of a clearly defined, internationally recognized border was still centuries away. The year 1648 marked a turning point in the history of borders. The Treaty of Westphalia, signed after the 30 Years' War, established a new international order based on the concept of sovereign states. This treaty recognized the right of states to exist within defined territories, free from interference by other states. It laid the groundwork for the modern system of nation-states and the importance of clearly defined international borders. The Westphalian system led to a more formalized approach to borders. Maps became increasingly important, and cartographers played a crucial role in delineating boundaries. However, the legacy of colonialism and the rise of new ideologies would soon challenge this new order. The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed the rise of European colonialism. Driven by economic and political ambitions, European powers carved up large parts of Africa, Asia, and the Americas, imposing their own borders on conquered territories. This scramble for Africa, formalized at the Berlin Conference in 1884–85, had a profound impact on the world map. Colonial borders often disregarded existing ethnic, cultural, and geographical realities, leading to long-lasting consequences. The arbitrary nature of colonial borders created artificial divisions, fueling ethnic tensions and contributing to future conflicts. The legacy of colonialism continues to shape the political landscape of many countries today. The 20th century witnessed two devastating world wars, both of which had a significant impact on international borders. The Treaty of Versailles, signed after World War I, redrew the map of Europe, creating new countries and altering existing borders. World War II led to further border changes, particularly in Europe and Asia. The end of the war also saw the emergence of two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, and the beginning of the Cold War. The Cold War era saw the division of Germany, the Korean Peninsula, and Vietnam, highlighting the role of ideology and geopolitical rivalry in shaping borders. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 marked the end of the Cold War and ushered in a new era of border changes, particularly in Eastern Europe. Borders have a profound impact on cultures and economies. They can facilitate trade and cooperation or act as barriers to the movement of people, goods, and ideas. The European Union, for example, has sought to promote economic integration by reducing border restrictions between member states. However, borders can also exacerbate economic disparities. Countries with restrictive border policies may limit opportunities for trade and investment, hindering economic growth. Furthermore, borders can influence cultural exchange. While they can help preserve distinct cultural identities, they can also lead to isolation and hinder the flow of ideas and artistic expression. Despite the importance of international borders, many parts of the world remain contested. Disputed territories like Kashmir, Crimea, and Western Sahara continue to be sources of tension and conflict. These disputes often stem from historical grievances, competing territorial claims, and the presence of valuable resources. Geopolitical rivalries, like the ongoing tensions between China and its neighbors in the South China Sea, also contribute to border disputes. Addressing these disputes requires diplomacy, negotiation, and a willingness to find peaceful resolutions. The international community plays a crucial role in mediating conflicts and promoting stability in border regions. The future of international borders is uncertain. Globalization, technological advancements, and the rise of transnational challenges like climate change are blurring traditional boundaries. Some argue that borders will become less relevant in an increasingly interconnected world. Others believe that borders will remain essential for maintaining national sovereignty, security, and identity. The challenge facing humanity is to find a balance between the need for cooperation and the desire to preserve distinct identities. The future of borders will depend on our ability to build bridges of understanding and collaboration across these lines on the map.